I go to log on and my computer needed to update and then Zoom needed to update.
You know, Chauncey, I'm James Massey. It's nice to meet you this way.
Hey there, how are you?
I'm doing well. Tim Lennon actually sitting in for James. He had a couple complications himself this morning. So
Gotcha.
he asked me if I'd step in and help host, and I said sure. And just along those technology lines, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, or just north of it. And
Okay.
we had those big storms yesterday, right? So we had
Right.
lightning and thunder and tornadoes dropping down here and there. And I had a Facebook Live session set up with Glenn Sanford at 5:30, and that was right at the time that the storms were coming through. So I unplugged all of my technology so that it wouldn't fry in case it got hit
Right.
by lightning. And then I plugged it back in, and I'm just sitting there at the edge of my chair going, is this gonna, light up for me in time? So I'm doing it on my phone. I've got everybody coming up on the phone. I'm going, okay, I'll talk to Glenn for a minute, and then pop, the computer came up and I was able to switch over because I couldn't figure out, for whatever reason on my phone, it wasn't giving me access to Facebook Live. It was giving me
Gotcha.
YouTube, but on my cell phone, it didn't give me Facebook. So, and I had promoted it all across Facebook. So in any event, technology, it's a beautiful thing when it works.
Yes, it is a beautiful thing when it works, but I had a little bit of technical difficulty. So I value your time and I appreciate you guys hanging in there for a couple of minutes with me.
You're absolutely fine. We're letting everybody join in here, Chauncey. And
Okay.
For you and those of you, I'm glad to meet you. I'm a honey badger also. So, but I don't think we've ever met. So
Yeah.
meet you. And
Nice to meet you as well.
and I'm going to ask you a couple questions about your history here when we get started. But I just pulled you up on YouTube because I hadn't met you and tried to get a little bit of information from Cam to get an understanding of who you are. So I've been with EXP for a little over 3 years, but I really was unable. I had a non-compete, so I was kind of unable to do much for the first year and a half or so.
Mhm.
James actually was an agent in my brokerage before I left EXP, or when I left EXP, he left. When I left my brokerage, he left the brokerage and went to EXP, which is where I was going. So
Okay.
that's just a little background on that. And Rena Rossi, I see here, who I see regularly on these things, and a number of other names actually.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Andre's on there, and okay. So again, for all of you, I am Tim Lennon. I'm sitting in as your host today with for James Massey, and we've got Chauncey Pham on the screen with us, and she is one of the honey badgers with us. So for those of you who are with EXP and in honey badgers, you know what that means. If you don't, that's okay. Sit in and listen in. You're going to get some great value delivered. And Chauncey, just a couple quick questions, because when I looked at your YouTube channel, which for those of you who don't know, go check her out on YouTube because she's got some great stuff. You don't look like you've been in the business that long.
I have not. Well, I mean, I'm coming up on 6 years. So I officially passed my real estate exam August 30th of 2016 and became an active agent with a brokerage as of October 1st of 2016. So yeah, I'm in my 6th year.
And who were you with before you joined EXP, and how long you been at EXP?
So I actually had my own boutique brokerage before I came to EXP. So something a lot of people don't know about Texas. Texas is a very small business forward state. And so Texas allows you to open up a real estate brokerage without actually having a broker's license, because the state of Texas gives brokers licenses to individuals as well as business entities. So essentially you're able to start a business entity, get a broker's license for that entity, hang your license with that entity as the licensed supervisor of that office, and then bring on other agents. So that's what I did. So I got licensed in 2016, and in 2018, I opened my own brokerage. Before I opened my own brokerage, I was with some small mom and pop, no more than 30, 40 agents type thing, and went off and opened my own brokerage in 2018. I believe that was February, and then came over to EXP in September of 2019, because what I ran into with owning my own brokerage was the fact that I couldn't compete. I had so many agents that wanted to join me. They liked kind of what I was doing, how I was attracting business at the time, and they wanted to tap into that. But number one, they weren't local to my area, and I was not able to expand as quickly as I needed to. And number two, being that I was so small and I was boutique and independent, I did not have all of the tools that larger brokerages had to leverage for my agents. And so then I didn't feel like I could charge the same commission splits as other brokerages. So then I was charging a flat fee. Long story short, when you charge flat fees, you're typically attracting talent that is just interested in what that fee is. Oftentimes they're not producers. And, I went from owning my own brokerage to being broke, which the root word of brokerage is broke. And I stand firm in that. And so I had to find a way that I could actually expand, but not on my dime. And EXP was the solution for that. So I came over in September of 2019. And within the first year, I was up to almost 300 agents. Of those, the majority were frontline. So as it stands right now, I don't know, I think I have like 135 frontline agents in my organization.
Yay, good for you. How many of those are qualifying?
I think I have 61 FLQAs.
That's awesome. I mean, you are in the top 1% of EXP influencers, I think.
Yes.
That's amazing. So good for you. And you did it with some positive energy and some great ideas and some enthusiasm about the real estate business, obviously.
Right.
So what kind of things did you find that when you got to EXP, you could leverage differently for yourself in sales, first of all?
So that's a very loaded question. That's a good question. I would say when I came to EXP, I was very guarded because I owned my own brokerage previously. So when I came over, I really wanted to hold on to having my own thing. So that's the first thing that I'll tell any of you. The coolest part about EXP is it allows you to leverage all of the relationships and all of the tools and stuff that they have, but to do so in a way that's building yourself and your own organization up. So what I did is I started attracting using what I was good at. So for those of you that don't follow me, I talk a lot of shit online. I tend to be a little bit funny. I have, a YouTube channel. I do a lot with video. And that is how I attract people in. And a lot of realtors have a problem with that. They just can't figure out how to harness that. And so what I did is I taught and did classes and attracted people by teaching them how to do that. And then on the back end, it was, hey, if you need more of the technical, listing trainings and things like that, then you can tap into our network and into EXP. So, I mean, it's awesome because what it allows for you to do is be introspective, figure out what your strengths are, figure out how to capitalize on those strengths and share that with people. And that's what you bring people into. And then from that, then you can kind of expand on what your network has to offer as well as what EXP has to offer instead of yelling at everyone, join EXP. If you guys can figure out and tap into what your strength is and it's join me, not just EXP, but this is why you want to join EXP and join into what I have to offer and into my network, then it makes kind of building the organization a lot easier.
Which is awesome because, you're being authentic, right?
Right.
And the thing that people struggle with is finding what that authentic part of themselves is. Especially, I'll speak for myself here, but I am not the camera in front of me person saying I want to be on camera on YouTube, right?
Right.
I didn't grow up with that. And
Right.
it's odd to me to do that. So finding myself on video or taking my strength and putting it onto a video is challenging. You came to it, seems like more naturally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to say this, guys. Everyone doesn't belong on video. So don't feel like you've got to do video. I talk a lot about video because that's my medium. I am a trained orator. I went to college on a debate and oratory scholarship. I, was at one point going to go into television, radio broadcast. This is what I do. I'm on a television show now on A&E. Like I like to be in front of the camera. You're a realtor, right? You don't have to necessarily be in front of the camera, but you've got to figure out what it is that you're good at and the way that you communicate and then deliver that message to people in that medium. And so I would say to you, Tim, you don't have to be good at video, but what are you good at? Are you really good at going out and getting listings? Are you really good at photography? Are you really good at going to the gym? Are you really good at connecting with people at church? If those are the things that you're good at, then stop trying to mimic what other people are doing and chasing their results when you don't have the skill set to do it. Tap into what you're doing, and EXP allows for you to do that. Tap into what you're good at and kind of implement something in that realm. And then that's where you're going to attract agents authentically.
So I think that's great advice. I'm going to go out onto the dock right now and sit with my whatever beverage it is, and I'll watch the water while you guys continue this mastermind. That's Do I videotape that? Let me back up for a second, Chauncey. And I did get a bio, or at least some words to say about you. And now that I think we've got the larger group of people on board, let me kind of read it. And these are words I think that James took to heart, and it may have come from something you wrote already, but it starts with tenacious. That's the one word description of expert real estate professional Chauncey Pham. It takes innovation, creativity, stellar negotiation skills, and impeccable follow-up to effectively navigate through today's DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth, real estate market. She's an invaluable asset for uncovering hidden gems and has a knack for negotiating and delivering results. Through innovative marketing techniques, industry connections, and savvy use of resources, she pulls out all the stops for her clients' satisfactions. Now, did you write that, or did a ghostwriter, or did James write that for you?
No, I wrote that years ago. I wrote that when, I was focused more on consumers, but yeah, that was something that I wrote, and I stand by that, guys. If there's one thing that I want you to pull out of this mastermind or this conversation today, it is legitimately to stop chasing the results of other people. We see people every single day that are cold calling a whole lot, and they're getting tons of deals. And so then you try to hop on the phones and cold call, or there's somebody that's throwing mega open houses. So now you think you've got to throw mega open houses, or that person that's doing great with video and YouTube, and now you think you need to do it. I want you to stop chasing all of these ideas and these cool things, because everything works and nothing does. Okay. I want for you to stop and think about you, where you go, the places you frequent, the people that you enjoy talking to, where you're comfortable. And I want you to start building your business based on those things instead of what everyone else has done in the business. And that's what I think James kind of wanted me to talk about today, and how I built my business that way, by honestly doing the opposite of what everyone else was doing and just tapping into my strengths instead of just like taking the advice of what other agents are doing. Not to be funny, but 90% of agents don't sell anything. So I don't know why we continue on this cycle of doing things that we aren't necessarily good at and that we don't enjoy and that aren't sustainable in building our businesses instead of looking within ourselves.
Which is awesome. And I'm not sure exactly, you guys can all probably enlighten me about the format, because I haven't been on this for a while. So I don't know exactly how much open conversation or questions we have, but if you do have some questions and you want to be asking Chauncey some specific things, either put your hand up.
I hate talking to the computer, y'all. I hate it so much. It's so cringy and weird to me for everybody just be looking at me like this. So like, ask some questions. Yeah, I see you, Raquel. You just, So y'all go in and ask me some questions, because
I have a question for you, Chauncey.
Go for it.
Do you have like other boutique brokerages in your downline? Because that's really what I want to target this year. I want to target other boutique brokerages because of exactly what you said. I also, that's the reason I joined EXP, because I did not have the resources as a smaller boutique brokerage, and I couldn't compete, just like you said. So that was kind of the avenue I was going to go to kind of attract. But if you could just kind of give us your spiel of how you open the dialogue there to even get them to pay attention, to consider.
No, absolutely. I do actually have some small boutique brokerages. And if you want to really know how it works in action, Morris is on here. I don't know if he can come off of mute and talk, but I helped him bring on a smaller commercial broker. And so I don't know if you have any input, because I don't necessarily know my strategy. I just talk to people, figure out what their pain points are, and then I kind of, bring them in with that. But Morris, what would you say about kind of the conversation that I had with that boutique brokerage owner that you brought in?
Yeah. Hey, Chauncey. Yeah, I think one of the things I noticed was that you just pretty much kept it real. You didn't try to like sugarcoat it or, try to make it sound more than what it is. You pretty much identified what the the issues were and the pain points, especially with you coming from having a brokerage. And you kind of put those out there and brought reality to them that is not as glamorous as it looks. And at the end of the day, the bottom line, when you do numbers, when you put the numbers on paper, it just makes more sense. And I think with you coming, from a real perspective and not trying to be salesy, I think that solidified it.
Yeah. No, yeah, so I would say, Michelle, the way that I even get them to have the conversation is I start out by saying, right, like in conversations with small boutique brokerage owners, like, how's business going? I mean,
Right.
it feels good to own that brokerage. How was your bottom line looking last year? These agents driving you crazy, aren't they? Like, how are you everything, everyone? And really, it's about getting them loosened up to actually admit it first. Because what you'll notice with small boutique, like indie brokerage owners, is the ego is strong.
Yeah.
The force is strong with them with the ego. And they never want to admit that they're really not doing as well as they would like to put out there. The perception is you own your own brokerage. I got my own name on the door. Like, I'm doing big. Meanwhile, you're like netting $18,000 a year. All
Right.
lies. And like, I know that it's a lie because I've been there. And so really getting them to admit that is the first step, and admit what the rock is in their shoe. And then starting to have that conversation open up, and just coming from a perspective of you talking to them about how it was when you were in that space versus now, kind of what you have available. And that's all that I did with the lady with Morris, and she's a commercial broker and came over with her agents.
Awesome. Okay.
So that
And
part, Chauncey, that you really know is what you end up netting.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's the main point. You know what the aggravation is of dealing with all the agents that you're trying to bring on board, all the needs they have. And at the end of the day, it's just not that profitable.
Right.
So you have to get to a large size to actually make it profitable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing that I would recommend as well, like when I was thinking about bringing in a third party, which I suggest, try to establish the relationship, but try to get someone that can speak from their place, I think helps. So like if you've never really owned a brokerage and you're telling them how to run it and what to do, I think it doesn't come off as strong as somebody that was in that spot, and they, they can kind of share those pain points together. I think that helps. So the first person I thought about was Chauncey when I was speaking with the lady, because they had similar backgrounds and pain points. And so I think that'll help you as well.
No, I agree. And y'all, I'm not in Morris's downline, upline, sideline, nothing. We have the same brokerage, okay? But he reached out to me, was like, hey, I got this lady. This is what she's got going on. It's very similar to your situation. Like, would you hop on? And I did, and I got her close. So guys, also don't be afraid to, tap into people that may not be in your direct downline. But I will say this, in order for you to do that, you got to plug in and be involved and know who the hell everybody is and what their unique skill sets are. Amen. And half of y'all are not. And so make sure that you're doing that. So then you know what, this person does development. This person does investing at a high level. This person is a coach and has courses, and this person does X, Y, and Z. So then when you're having conversations with people, you know who the right person is to bring in, regardless of, downline situation.
Absolutely want to endorse that, because I am not actually part of James's downline. So James is part of Andre and Morris and Levi and Dan Hillsman and, a bunch of other people. I just got called because I was his broker before, so he felt comfortable. So, the reality is we've got all of these resources across the system, but you do have to plug in. By the way, for those of you who don't know, and Chauncey, I don't know which ones of these you're on, but are you on? Probably you should be in the beta group, if not the leaders or something.
I'm in the group right above right below the top one. I forget.
Alpha, beta. You're in beta.
Yeah, I'm in beta, so I'm not in alpha.
All right. So those groups now are open to people to sit in and listen. They want you to be quiet and not let the betas take it over, because they're talking really high level kinds of things for attraction. But part of what they're talking about is how to make their agents in their downline more productive and getting plugged in, because too many of us join and see this as an opportunity and then don't actually plug into what the opportunity is. and you're missing half of the value of EXP. Not that it's not a great thing without it, but you're still missing so much value. So Chauncey, what other things should they tune into?
I would say, in the beginning, at least figure out and go to all of the trainings that you can, go to some of the network things that are just specific to your network and trainings, and just start listening to people. I mean, that's all that I did. I didn't know what the hell a honey badger was when I first started, but I went to all of Jay Kinder and John Kitchen's trainings that they had. And then from those trainings, I would see people comment and they would, talk to those people. And then I would go and follow those people and maybe the trainings and classes that they have. So really it's just about plugging in and getting involved. It's not rocket science. You just need to get involved and start to learn a little bit more about what your peers do, who they are, and what value they can bring to the table for your perspective people that you're bringing in.
And are you using Workplace a lot?
Yes, I did in the beginning. Now, honestly, I'm so busy. I'm doing so many other things. I'm not in there as much as I should be. But yes, I used to be constantly in Workplace, and that was a huge tool.
All right, so I'll bet if I asked everybody on this to chat whether or not they use Workplace regularly, and if you're not, are you going to? You'd be surprised to see the answers, and not for me, but put it in chat so everybody can look at it and see what we're doing and not doing. Because in reality, there is so much stuff on Workplace, and talking about the groups or your specific kind of interest that you are good at, you will find people that are similar to you that can help you. And by the way, Chauncey and I don't know each other, but I guarantee you I'm going to have a conversation with her later, and I'll be calling on her if I have an independent to talk to, because she's a person that I know has the street cred, right? She's got it. And that's what you're looking for, is the people you can relate to that have the credentials that you can call on to actually leverage. So Tamara, you have a question in chat. Do you want to ask that?
Yes, I do. I got a chance to watch you in Dallas when you took the stage, and I didn't know who you were, but I really appreciate everything that you shared.
Tamara, have you got your cell phone on also?
Yeah, there's an echo.
Better?
I'm gonna mute something.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, no. Okay, sorry about that. But yeah, I was just saying I got a chance to see you when you were in Dallas and you were able to speak on the big stage. So I didn't know who you were at that time, but I was like, oh wow, and she's a honey badger, so I just thought that was amazing. I just wanted you to share, like, with our group, kind of like how you get started, or some of us are doing a little bit more with social media and trying to get leads. What would be, I guess, how would you tell somebody to start to use social media and YouTube for marketing with leads, and then how to maintain that presence?
Ooh, child, that's a whole course. So let me see. The first step is I would determine if your target client is actually on social media. Again, everybody has, and guys, sorry, I use inappropriate terminology all the time, but everybody has a heart on social media right now. And I don't understand why, because everyone's clients aren't on social media. If you focus on an older clientele, or you focus on, people that may be in a different space than social media, and you're not in that space and you're not comfortable with social media, then why the hell are you trying to learn social media? Because your people ain't there to begin with. So I would say the first step is figuring out and being honest with yourself about whether or not you actually need social media in a really hardcore way in order to reach your audience. And if that answer is yes, and only if that answer is yes, the second step is to drill down what platform of social media are they on. Okay. Because they're not everywhere. Everybody ain't on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube going and looking for answers. Because then that's the third thing, is whichever platform your people are on, your job is to become their Google result. Your job is to become the expert on that platform to the solutions of their problems, not to pose as the expert of real estate. And I want y'all to hear that again, because I get so sick seeing people on social media like, hey, here is a great house. I sold this house. Okay, great. It's 1,000 realtors everywhere. You throw a rock, you're going to hit one. What is it that you can solve that is a problem that your target client is Googling and looking up and asking their coworkers and asking their friends and family members? So maybe they're a veteran and they want to understand how they can buy investment properties in all of the different cities that they're deployed. Or maybe they're recently, divorced, or they're about to go through a divorce and they're wondering how that process looks. Whatever the case may be, whoever is your target client, where are they, and how can you answer their questions and become the authority to the solutions of their problems rather than the authority to real estate. And so then that's how you're going to create your content. Okay. So that's how you're going to kind of start coming up with the ideas of what you need to talk about. And if you don't know, I'll give you guys a quick, easy hack right now. It's all the rave. You've probably seen it online, but I've been doing this for a while through Jasper, but now you guys can do this with Chat GPT. Let's just say, Tamara, you decide that your target client is going to be veterans, or let's say first-time home buyers. And you want to target them on Facebook because you know that's where most of them are, but you don't know exactly what to post on Facebook. Easiest thing for you to do is go to Chat GPT, which is openai.com, and type that question in and type in 10 social media post ideas for first-time home buyers. And it will literally pop them up and tell you what you need to post. You can do the same thing with Jasper AI. So many services that will tell you exactly what you need to create content around. And then from there, it's just a matter of determining what type of medium you feel like you can deliver it best. So maybe that is a video. Maybe that is, a picture with a caption and a post up underneath it. But there are many, many steps to social media. And what people don't understand is that social media is simply a tool, but a tool without a strategy behind it means nothing. And so you've got to really kind of come in with a strategy, and that strategy is going to include, where is your client? Are they actually on social media? If so, what platform are they on? What problems they have? And then putting yourself in a position to deliver the information to the solutions to their problems in a medium that you're most comfortable consistently. I mean, that's literally the whole formula to doing it. And so that can apply to any platform, that's going to apply to any subject. And at any time, if you want to change over exactly who you're talking to, I mean, it's the same thing. You just kind of go in and start creating content around that instead. So if you guys follow my content on YouTube, on Instagram, when I first started out, it was very much geared toward the consumer. And then it became a little bit more geared toward first-time home buyers and down payment assistance and ways that you could buy a home without putting 20% down. And then I opened a brokerage. So then it became me more talking toward agents. And then now I'm doing a lot in the investing world. So now it's talking a little bit more in investing. And now I'm coaching and training agents on how to do social media and video. So that's where my content. So my content has changed. The platforms have been the same, but my content has changed because I'm simply now setting myself up as the authority to whatever it is that I'm wanting that target market to hear. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Can you say that again? You said Jasper AI or
Jasper AI and Chat GPT.
GP like Paul or
like GP like Paul, T like Tom.
Oh, okay. I have it. Okay.
And so if you just Google Chat GPT, they've been overrun on the website with people going, so it may be busy during some times of day, and I'll tell you to check back. But essentially, it's really cool. It's like a chat bot, right? It's artificial intelligence. These services are really cool, and you can go in and literally type a question. And so many people have fed information into it. You can type in a question. I don't know. Here, let me see if it's alive right now. And then if so, then I would ask Tim for you to let me share my screen, and then I'll show everyone kind of how it works. Let me see though if it's up right now, because it's really busy during some parts of the day and it gets overloaded. I think it's good right now. Let's see here. Bear with me just a second.
It shows it's overloaded.
It's letting me log in, I think. It's making me do the capture right now. So let me see. Because I already have an account in here, so it typically will let people that have accounts in. Yeah, I'm in. I'm in like Glenn. So yeah, if you could give me capabilities to share my screen.
You got
And
it.
I'll just show everyone kind of what I mean here. All right, cool beans. So I don't have on my glasses, so I'm sorry guys if I'm super squinty. I can't see nothing. I'm struggling over here.
Here, I'll let you borrow mine.
I need them desperately. Like, it's so bad right now. Hold on. I've got too many windows open, so bear with me just a second. And I'll show you guys how you can leverage this to come up with your social media topics and stuff. And it is so cool. It does everything for you. You don't have to come up with anything. It will write scripts for you. And again, Jasper AI does the same thing, not quite at the level that Chat GPT does. Okay, here we go. Let me share. Why can't I find? There it is. Show all windows. There we go. Okay. All right, so this is ChatGPT. Again, it's openai.com, and you can come on here and let's just say that you wanted to come up with some social media content for the next 30 days geared toward first-time homebuyers, right? And so maybe you could type 30 questions to answer first-time home. That's not a good question. So 30 questions first-time home buyers may have. And so this thing is just going to keep going. How much money do I need for a down payment? What are the different types of mortgages? How do I find a real estate agent? How do I determine how much I can afford for a home? It's going to go on and on and on. It's going to give me 30 different ones. If I ask for 10, it'd give me 10. If I wanted to type 10 video ideas for attracting VA home buyers. I'm going to stop generating that one. So then it starts generating answers on this next question. And here we go. So now I'm going to get 10 video ideas for attracting VA home buyers. Why VA loans are the best option for veterans. The VA loan process explained step by step. How to qualify for a VA loan. Like literally the computer does everything for you now. You do not have an excuse to say, I don't know what type of content to put out there. Whether you're making a video for it, whether you're just posting a picture and putting captions under it. And hell, if you don't know the answer to the question, then type in, why are VA loans the best option for veterans? Give me five ways that VA loans are the best option for veterans. And boom, it's even going to give you the content to put in there for the subject of the video. You just got to take the step and actually do it and do it consistently. And then your audience is going to start to know you as the authority to those questions and the problems that they have. And so who are they going to go to? Another thing that I would say in terms of your social media, guys, is don't just make the social media, but put a call to action behind it. I see so many people making content, but it really doesn't do anything. Your content should incite the consumer to take action some sort of way. So whether it's to click on something, to visit your website, to reach out to you, to book a call, to, download a freebie, it should do something. So it should incite action or it should incite feeling. And if you're doing neither of those with your posts, then you're just posting because you think you're supposed to, but you don't have real strategy behind it. So definitely make yourselves available. Something that and the way that I grew my revenue share group so quickly when I first started is I had a book Chauncey's brain session for free all over the internet. If you were on my Instagram, my Facebook, my YouTube, there was a link that you could get on my calendar in 2 seconds flat. And a lot of you guys, there's no way that even if you posted something on social media and you started using it correctly, how are people even going to reach you? They got to go digging all over the damn internet to try to find your information. So make yourself readily available for people so that, that is a call to action that you can have and they're booking calls with you and they're taking action very quickly. So be accessible as well would be something else that I would say, incorporate that some kind of way into your social media strategy.
Chauncey, do you have any particular calls to action? Like some people want to provide a document. Some people want to have send them to another site. Do you have any particular calls to action that are best?
Yeah, it's so many. Book a call with me here or schedule a call. Click here to get a free download. Like a really hot one, guys, that I ran when I was focused on new construction was, click here to get a list of, the top 5 ways builders take advantage of unrepresented buyers. Click here to get a list of the top 5 upgrades that you can do to new construction that actually add value versus those that are just a money grab for the builder. So I did a lot of freebie downloads. So that's another way that you can go. So come up with valuable list of what your target client is looking for. If you're targeting, VA buyers, I don't know, I'm just throwing something out there, click here to download a list of, the top 5 cities, to get deployed to that, have the best real estate market or whatever the case may be. But just get them to take an action that can either start a conversation with you or allow you to grab their information in some way. Otherwise, you're just kind of posting and it's like, nice, that's a cool post. Cool story, bro, but you're not really doing anything with it.
That's great input, because so many people do not put a call to action into their advertising, and basically you're just branding. And
Right.
it looks good, and that's not bad, but
Right.
it's helpful, but you need to have the call to action in there. I'm looking for other questions. Anybody got other questions for Chauncey? You got a person on fire here. Not only in selling real estate, but in attracting agents as well. So give me another question. I don't want to dominate, but I will.
Okay, I have enough. Oh, I'm sorry. Go, Michelle. You go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna ask, do you now that we're shifting to a buyer's market,
Mhm.
do you target sellers? Do you have any content or any suggestions to target sellers in this time where they might be concerned that, hey, I'm not gonna get the value that I could have gotten earlier in 2022, you know?
And so full disclosure, guys, I don't really sell anymore. Now I have a team of agents that do up
Oh,
underneath
okay.
me. I don't. But what is working for my people is they are focused on expires and FSBOs right now. Stuff's not selling. So FSBOs can't sell anything. Agents can barely sell stuff right now. So FSBOs definitely aren't selling anything. And then expireds are definitely disgruntled and they're blaming their agents oftentimes for, the fact their house didn't sell, when ultimately we all know we're arguing with them because they still think it's 2020. They're not listing their homes properly at the right price. And it is very easy to snag those up. So my group has snagged up 11 expired listings in the last 2 weeks.
Awesome.
And it's really no tactic other than picking up the phone and talking to people that are pissed off about what's happening right now.
Yeah.
And it's been like taking candy from a baby, because most of them have just been sitting because they didn't listen, but having those conversations with them and figuring out why they think it didn't sell, and really uncovering things in those conversations and giving them more realistic expectations about the market now has been working really well for us. So I wouldn't say that there's been any type of crazy marketing tactic other than like, hey man, I see your house didn't sell. Why do you think it didn't sell?
Okay.
Like, let's talk and figure out why not and see if I can help you out. Like, what do you have to lose? And it's just been literally appointment after appointment.
Cool.
I was going to ask, like, with your team, is it mostly local or I guess international? But do you see, I guess, making more traction, or as far as retention wise, helping people via Zoom, or is it more in person? Like, how are you? I guess what's a typical, I guess, month or whatever, or how do you look at the year? Are you in person, Zoom, or how do you, I guess, maintain the team or kind of bring everybody together? Kind of like you said, you got 11 FSBOs or whatever. How is that all?
Well, so
I
those
guess
are all just my local group. That's my
Okay.
actual like local formal agents that are. So the way that I don't really run a team anymore per se, but I have like 3 agents that are underneath me that, because I get so many referrals, I just give those referrals to them and then I just take a referral fee. Instead of me running it as a formal team now and giving them, anything beyond the leads, like they can market themselves because I disbanded my actual formal team. And so those 11 just came from like 2 people really here in the last 2 weeks. And so my entire revenue share group, though, we do a lot of, Zooms and things like that. And then once a quarter, we try to get together in person.
It's good stuff, gang. Keep firing some questions. You all got questions. You all got issues.
I
I'll
have a
go again.
question. Oh, go ahead. I'll go after you. I just jumped on.
Tina. Tamara, it's you, it sounds like.
Which
Oh, I was
team?
just going to ask this, whether there's any scripting that you use or.
No, absolutely
Um,
not. Absolutely
okay.
not. No, I hate it. I literally have a YouTube video about it. I hate scripts. Here's why I hate scripts. If you go and you try out for a role in a movie or in a play, everybody gets the same script, right? How many people get the role? 1. So is the script really helpful? No, it doesn't matter what the damn script is. It matters how you deliver it. It matters how you make the other person feel. It matters how you uncover the information. It matters how you connect and resonate with that person. So while scripts are helpful, I like to say that we should learn more of the correct guided questions to ask people when talking to them rather than actual scripts. So do we need to know how to have the conversation and what questions to ask and how to, guide that conversation? Yes. But actual scripts of you making phone calls and reading off of a script, I hate the concept of that so much.
So where do you go to get the outline for following to know how you're going to guide them through a conversation?
Now that's a hard one. And I've always had a hard time kind of conveying this because I am a natural salesperson. I've been in sales my entire life. But I always start with the question words: who, what, when, where, how. And I was always taught in any sales, from oil and gas, merchant services, everything that I've ever done, is to keep the conversation going. You continue asking questions, and the buzz question words are what you should always do. So when in doubt, who, what, when, where, how. So, when you're having the conversation, why hasn't your house sold? Why don't you think that your house is sold? What didn't you like about your, past agent? Why did they do that? Where did you see room for improvement? So literally just carrying on conversations and coming up with as many questions as you can that start with the what, when, where, how, why. Because I tell people, we overthink it. We overthink it so hardcore, and it's really annoying to me. And here's what I mean. If I were to say, Tamara, go to the store and cook dinner for us, and that's all I said, you look at me like I was crazy, and you'd be like, girl, what store? What we cooking? How many people you cooking for? You cooking at your house or at my house? How much money am I spending? Oh, by the way, is it my money or is it your money? Who's paying? We splitting the bill? You would have all of these questions that you would inherently know to ask me because you know what the task is at hand that you're trying to get to. The goal is to get the food so that I can cook, but it's so much missing information in the middle that you need in order to achieve that naturally those questions to ask. And I think that realtors get stuck because they forget what their end game is. Your end goal is get somebody in a damn house, whether they're to buy it, to rent it, or to help them sell it, right? And to figure out where they are in that process. And so if that's what you know, and you know where the conversation starts, then your job is to just simply fill in the gap with those question words and make it a conversation. And so take it from a perspective of being curious, in a sense that you can't do your job unless you get this information. Does that make sense?
It not only makes sense, I would say that in all honesty, that's a script. The 5 W's, right? Make sure you go over the 5 W's.
Right.
And they will address motivation. They'll address all the elements that you're looking for by asking those 5 W's.
Right. So the question words. 100%.
Yeah, it's great stuff. I'm looking for other people with questions.
So
I have a
Chauncey,
question.
I have a question, Chauncey.
Yes.
This is Cortina. I want to ask you, initially when you got into real estate, what motivated you? Because when you start, you kind of just starting with a blank slate. What motivated you to say, hey, I can do this? Or to get away from that feeling like, I don't know what I'm doing, everybody else knows more than I do? Because
I don't lose.
No. Okay.
I mean, as simple as that. Like, not even with a straight face, I can say that. I saw people in this business doing extraordinary things that were not extraordinary people. And the more that I saw those people doing things, and I was like, they just stuck with it. They just figured out what it was that they were good at. And they just did something sustainable and kept on with it. Then I knew I could do it too. These people aren't special. Like, if you look at some of the top tier people at EXP, they're just cool, down to earth, regular people. When you talk to them, you're like, really? You're making 600 grand a month in rev share? Like, how? And they can't even tell you. They can't even explain it to you. And so once I realized that there were so many people in this business selling 60, 70, 80, 100 houses a year that weren't even using a damn CRM, didn't understand or have any intricate background in sales and in closing people, then I knew that I could do it. And so it really is a mindset. And I've just always been one of those people. I've just always thought, why not? Like, I don't I think I can do anything. You show me how to do anything short of brain surgery, I think I can figure it out. And so I don't know, that's just.
I'm going to ask you a question about that though, Chauncey, because I think you have a really strong self-image. Where did you get that strong self-image from?
I don't know, I think I've always had it. I don't know. I can't pinpoint it anywhere in particular. I did when I was younger. I moved around a lot. I went to a lot of different schools and I didn't like being the new girl. So I always made a presence and made a wave when I got there so that quickly I could get comfortable and kind of make myself relevant. So maybe it stemmed from that, but I've just always kind of had that about me because I just always saw people doing really cool stuff. And I just never thought that anybody was better than me or deserved it more than I did.
And that's awesome. I just know that for myself and for a lot of people, there's a lot of self-talk that goes on that stops you from taking those positive steps.
Right.
And I love hearing you're strong in that personality. You're strong in that understanding of yourself. There's I don't want to point out names, but I know some of these people that don't have that great self-image and they're trying to get it every day.
Right.
What do you listen to? What do you do to stay motivated? Do you have downtimes? Do you ever have downtimes?
Not much.
God, I love you.
Not much. I really
married?
don't.
Are you married?
I am married.
Oh, done it.
I am married and my husband thinks I'm crazy too. I've just always been highly competitive. I've always wanted to win. And I've just never had that limiting belief. I was never scared when I first got into real estate and I heard that there were so many realtors. My first question was like, how many of them are selling them? How many of them are making money? How many of them are making $500,000 a year or more? And then when I heard that number, I was like, well, then it's not really that much competition. They're there, but they're not really doing much. And so then I had to figure out how to position myself. And something else, guys, that I do a lot of is I'm not afraid to bulldoze myself into rooms that I don't necessarily feel like I deserve to be in. Y'all don't be scared to input yourself into some spaces with some people in places that you never thought that you would get to, because that's where all the learning happens.
And the growth.
And the growth. Yeah, absolutely.
So I have a
Tina?
question.
Yes.
Yes. So I saw you on YouTube and I made an appointment from your link. And I was like, this was a couple of weeks ago and we didn't end up connecting. I was disappointed, but then I got invited to this webinar and here you are again. Yes, I have you. So I had a question about my career. I started at Zillow as a real estate advisor. I worked remotely. It was busy. We did great. They fired us all. Went over to Divvy. It's a rent to own program. And, leads were coming in. I did great. But when the leads stopped, now I'm a traditional agent and I don't have the first clue on what to do if I'm not being fed leads. I've bought leads before, didn't work. Wrote the letters, did the door knocking, which I hate. What would you recommend essentially a new traditional agent and how to get started? If you don't have a TV show, if you don't have, a YouTube, what do you do?
First of all, I mean, you're gonna have to come up with a business plan. So this is something some of you guys have probably heard me say this before, but I stand by this analogy. When you become a real estate agent, it's no different than when you open up a retail storefront. And again, I think that we overcomplicate things. So if you were to open Kimberly's shoe store, right? And
it would be Tina's shoe store.
Tina shoe store. You go and open Tina shoe store and you go and sign a lease for $5,000 a month. And it's an empty shell of a store. And you're like, holy hell, I got to pay $5,000 next month for this rent. I ain't got nothing. And you're standing on the sidewalk looking at this empty shell of a store. No one would have to tell you where to start. The first thing you would notice is I don't have a sign outside. Nobody even knows what this store is, right? So then that is creating your footprint. That is creating your branding and who you are. So if you have not yet done that, do that. Because
so I'm at that point
story.
where I have this bill coming up. I have this $5,000 bill, but I don't have time. What do I do?
You got to make time.
I don't have time to pay the $5,000 bill, but the bill's due. So what do I do if I don't have time, but I need the time? Like there's no time to pay the bill. The bill comes every first of the month.
I mean,
what do I do?
you know, building a business, oftentimes you may go into the red before you're in the black. That's just the reality of it. I don't, not to get on my small business soapbox, but a lot of people think that you're supposed to get in this and then immediately be, have this handbook on what to do and like be successful and good. Like who told y'all that? 95% of small business owners fail. So it's supposed to be a grind. You're supposed to be up at night figuring out how the hell you're going to pay your bill. I don't know how you're going to pay it. Figure it out. All of us have been there, and that is kind of a part of the game, and that is what should keep you grinding and going. But back to kind of the analogy of the store, you've got to figure out that you don't have a storefront. That's building out your brand. So creating your footprint online, wherever that's going to be, building out all of your profiles. Then do you have store hours on the door? If you don't have store hours on the door, then, I mean, who knows when your store is open and closed? So that's creating your schedule and your work hours. Who is it that you want to walk through the doors of your store? Like you don't sell shoes and watermelon and clothes and sports paraphernalia, right? So who is it that you want to walk through the doors of your store? Who is your target client? Write that out on a piece of paper. Who are they? Where do they go? And what problems do they have? And then that's what you start marketing. That's what you start making content toward. Those are the environments that you go. If they are always at schools, then you need to be partnering up with schools and with local YMCAs and things like that. And then once they come into your store, that doesn't mean they're going to go to the cash register and buy something. So then building out a system of nurturing them from walking through the door. What's your process? How do you greet them? How do you stay in front of them and make sure that you're answering their questions and solving their problems until you can get them over to the cash register, which is the actual checkout point, the closing of the house. So building out your system, building out your CRM, building out, how you're going to keep in touch with them. That's a very important piece of it too. So a lot of you guys find yourselves lost in the sauce with building out the real estate business because you're not thinking about it like it's a traditional store and retail storefront, and it's the same exact concept. So everything that you would do to make your store relevant, you need to be doing to make your real estate business relevant. And time is always difficult, but one thing I would say to you, Tina, is EXP has a lot of ways that you can get fed some leads. You may not like the back end referral fee, but you've got, what's it called? The what's the leads, guys? You know what I'm talking about.
Revenues,
Op City.
Op City. Yeah.
Op City, yeah.
Take on some Op City leads, turn that shit on and go. It's like driving for Uber. They'll start sending you leads immediately. Are some of them trash? Yes. Will they also get you busy talking to people? Also, yes. And while you're out there doing that, you can be having as many conversations and connections as possible to start cultivating even more relationships. So take advantage of Op City. You do not have to pay anything upfront. That gets you out there grinding very quickly. And if that doesn't work, then join a team. And join a team that already has some really good structure and has leads that they can just hand to you. And then you can just go and work.
Okay, someone in the comments says, what do you mean you don't have time? Do you mean you don't have money? Both. I'm a realtor. There's sometimes where I have a lot of money and sometimes I don't. I have one under contract, and when that closes, I'll have money. So I will apply these tips, and I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, Kimberly.
We got two more hands and we got a couple more minutes. We got Kimberly Beckwith and we got Epic Journey. Kimberly?
Hey, Chauncey, thank you so much. Quickly, you mentioned that you disbanded your team, and I was considering creating a team or starting a team. I've had one in the past, and I was considering creating a new one, but what was the reason you disbanded your team?
Time. I don't have time to manage people right now. Teams require some pretty good micromanagement unless you want to set your money on fire, and I don't have the time for that right now. So instead, I opted to just go with kind of the referral type system. So, hey, I've got these 2 or 3 agents that I know will close deals when I send to them. Any leads that I get that are coming in, pass to them, and I'm done with it. So for me, that works out easier, especially now that I've built out my revenue share group so large that between the revenue share and then what I'm getting from those referrals, it's netting me the same thing that it was when I actually had a team.
Got it. Thank you.
Epic Journey.
Hey, my question was, okay, so obviously I'm gonna have some people are gonna have to do it right if you weren't doing your social right to begin. How do you recommend the reinvention? Like, do you get rid of a lot of stuff or you just start day one, okay, go hard?
Start day one.
Okay.
Don't get rid of anything. Don't get rid of it. It's good. Because then that becomes content. Once you get good, then you can go back and make fun of yourself. Don't get rid of it.
Okay.
Keep it there. You know what I mean? Like Like all of it is a part of your journey, and all of it is a learning lesson. And then to go back in a year from now and see how you've progressed and how good your stuff is at that point and how it's bringing in leads versus what it looks like now, like you'll want that there. So no, don't get rid of it, but just come up with a day one strategy and pretend like today is day one and this is a new you. So if you guys go and follow my Instagram right now, so estate_chick_real, or just type my name in on Instagram, you guys will see the last couple of videos that I've done are reels. I never really did reels before, but now these are reels that are like showing you tips and tricks on how to do video and things like that. So that's my new reinvention. That's what I've dedicated to doing in 2023, is becoming the authority at helping real estate professionals and small businesses leverage video and social media to make more money. And so those are the types of videos that I'm putting out now. And it's just the last couple that are there, but by the end of the year, it's going to be loaded up and I'll be able to see the progression from 2016, 17, 18, all the way up to the end of this year. And it's really cool to see, and then go back and dig and take some of that old content. So absolutely do not get rid of it.
Okay, thank you.
Good deal. We got 1.5 minutes left. Chauncey is on a hard timeline. She's got $1 million deal coming in at 1 o'clock. So, or 12 o'clock Central, right?
No, I actually have time for you guys. So, and I did want to share something that, because I have so many agents that have been asking me about video, and I literally have people just randomly send me videos in my Instagram, text me and say, hey, can you look at this? Can you feedback? Tell me what to do. I'm launching a video community February 1st. So it's really, really affordable, and we'll be teaching everything. So I figured out, guys, that I have access to something that nobody else has access to. So I am on a television show right now on A&E, and I have access to television producers. I have access to acting coaches. I have access to all of these things that people can leverage as realtors, and they've even taught me some stuff. And so this community essentially will have, you know, live trainings and things like that with acting coaches, television producers, videographers, photographers that teach you everything from lighting to technical. So I'll put the link down at the bottom if you guys are interested in checking it out. But that's all that I will be focused on in 2023, is teaching agents and small business owners how to actually get comfortable in front of the camera and how to leverage it properly on the different platforms.
Can you put your Instagram handle and some of the, I guess, other, yes, okay, perfect.
Yeah. So my IG handle.
Thank you for coming on today. This has really been amazing. I'm really enjoying
Great
this.
information. Thank you.
Well,
so
now you guys need
much.
to implement it. Actually go implement it. Don't suck it in, but like think today. The homework thing for all of you guys today is to go and write down who is your target client, or at least one target client that you really want to focus on. And I want you to write down on a piece of paper who they are, so intricately that when you're done writing it down who they are, you feel like you discriminated against other people, because that's how marketing works. If you're marketing to everyone, you're marketing to no one. So write down who they are. Are they male? Are they female? Are they married? Are they single? Do they have kids? What's their political, religious affiliation? What's their first language, second language? Like, write down everything. Where do they go? How much money do they have? What's their credit score? Write down exactly who they are. And then write down in another column, where do they go? Are they at the YMCA? Are they at school because they have small kids? Are they at the nail salon or the barbershop or the cigar lounge? Or are they at the gym? Or are they at church? Where do they go? And then I want you to write in the third column a list of their problems. So what are things that they're asking friends and family? What are things that they're Googling, whether it is real estate related or not? How do I get a divorce? How do I leave this man? He's getting on my nerves. Who gets the house if I get divorced? What happens if my mom dies and I get the house? Like, literally write down all of the things that they're asking. And then from that, you can start building out some content, because what you are going to want to do is become the expert at the answers to their questions. And you're going to want to market and put that information in the places that they frequent. So you're essentially meeting your target client where they are with the answers that they need. And so that can be your very first video or your first post that you make. And feel free to run it by me, tag me in it, and I'll audit it. You guys can even like message it to me in Instagram, and I'll audit it, tell you what I think, things that you can change before you post it. And then that can kind of get you going on your journey.
Chauncey, I greatly appreciate this. Tim, for kind of stepping in. I had like a little health situation that popped up at the last minute, but it's good to know good people to kind of step in for. So I appreciate you, Tim. I've been kind of listening in on everything. I mean, you know, you're just dynamic in and of itself, which is the reason why we asked you on to be able to share with our group. And anybody that doesn't get fired up from what you've been telling them today, something wrong with them. Probably don't need to be in real estate, just to be honest with you. So like if anybody's been invited here, you definitely want to get back with the person that invited you and thank them first of all, and see what it is, and you know, you get a sneak peek into what partnership with our group looks like. Any parting words for Chauncey? You know, up in the we're a little bit, we're 2 minutes over right now. Any parting words for her before we jump off?
I greatly appreciate you taking the time and sharing valuable information. I have one more question for the FSBOs. Outside of just driving by signs, what is a good place to actually find them?
Red X, Mojo, just buy a list.
Okay.
You can get them off of Zillow for free.
Yeah, but they don't have phone numbers anymore.
The white pages.
Yeah. So buying the list is easier because you don't have to go through that. So you can find all the properties in Zillow, but then you're going to have to figure out how to get contact info, right? So if you just want it all in one shot, then that's why I just say buy the list. It's like $50 a month.
Great
Thanks
resources.
so much.
Chauncey, it's a pleasure meeting you, first of all, for me. James, I'm glad to see you're up and at it. Looking good.
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no
Like I said, I
problem.
appreciate you stepping in.
No problem. I'm going to hand it off to you to end it here and go for it. Thank you, though.
All right, no problem. You know, once again, we do these every second Friday of the month. Have an agent on that's killing it, sharing, open up their playbook. Chauncey has been so gracious to you know, share what she's been able to do. So you know, we greatly appreciate you, you know, within our group for that. If you need the recording, if you missed any part of this, the recording is going to be on the Agent Builders Facebook group, private Facebook group. If you're not part of Agent Builders, just reach out to the person that invited you, or you know, that sponsored you, either one, and then they'll be able to get you connected with that. Once again, thank you so much, Chauncey. I don't want to dominate your time. I appreciate you being there, you know, being here for an hour, and you know, hopefully the next time that we connect, I can you know, talk to you a little bit more.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Great call. Thanks, Chauncey.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yep.